It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know all of that. I know the story, you know, vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know all of it. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs. I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it and from that moment on wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons, light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, or leopard rugs, or pretty things, you know, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or, you know, a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. And Bob did not like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings, but he had no problems or issues and was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. But, you know, I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change that I dropped on the deli floor. But, you know, when he was handing me back all the quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. But that's when the miracle occurred. You see, it turned out Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way that they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. Oh, he had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. "No, I'm right here," I said. "No, you," he said. "I have to see you." "Turn on the light," I said. Thinking he was being a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. But he turned on the light. Then he said, "Okay, I'm ready. Ready to see you." "Right here," I said, "right here." Well, then he began to undress me. "What are you doing, Bob?" I said. "Well, I need to see you," he said. No need. Just, you know, do it." "I need to see what you look like," he said. "You've seen a red leather couch before." Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. "This is awfully intimate," I said. "Can't you just do it?" "No," he said. "It's who you are. I need to look." I held my breath. He looked. And looked. Then he got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. "You're so beautiful," he said. "You're elegant, deep, innocent, and wild." "You saw that there?" I mean, it was like he read my palm. "I saw that," he said, "and more. Much, much more." He stayed looking for nearly an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me. He looked so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. But Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell. I began to feel proud. I began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there, and I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.